I just can't let you go. Lord knows that I've tried to. You said I was the only one. No one likes being lied to.
What is up, you guys? I'm back with another video. Today's video is going to be very different for what I've done so far. Unless you're living under a rock, you are probably aware of the coronavirus. This is something that is very serious, and I would like to take a minute to ask you to please be careful, take care of yourselves, stay at home if you have to. If in your country, wherever you are in the world, there's a quarantine period, please make sure to follow the advice of the authorities and stay safe, basically, is what I would like to tell you. Make sure you use lots of sanitizer. Please make sure to wash your hands regularly, and as I said, stay safe. I've been watching on the news and all over Facebook and all over Instagram, and I just got really sick of hearing about the coronavirus. And one image kind of popped into my feed and I was like, oh wow, that's such pretty colors. This is actually the coronavirus bacteria. I will make sure to pop a picture right here on the screen. This is one of the interpretations of how the bacteria looks. And a thought in my mind popped, why not try and recreate a coronavirus inspired makeup look? It's a very weird idea, I know. I searched it online and I couldn't find anything like this. It's weird, it's new, I haven't seen anybody do it before, so let's give it a go. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that I've never done a look like this before, and I also love to experiment. Also, if you're new, please make sure to subscribe before you leave. I would very much appreciate that. And yeah, pretty much the idea behind this video is trying to create something positive, creative, some sort of art, and try to get something good out of all the ugliness from this virus. And this is pretty much my way of coping with this virus and basically telling it to go fuck itself. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get on with the video. To start off this look, I'm gonna be grabbing Peach Smoothie by Makeup Geek, and I'm going to use it as my transition shade. On my Morphe E23, I'm grabbing the shade Morocco, again from Makeup Geek, and I'm going to place that just slightly lower than Peach Smoothie. And don't be afraid to drag the shade further out your eye, because we're going to be cleaning that up with a makeup wipe anyway. On a smaller blending brush, I'm going to grab this shade right here, which is called Sokoto, and it's from the Saharan palette by Juvia's Place. And this shade is going to represent this red stuff over here. So as you can see, I'm placing the shade right in my crease, trying to keep it as high as possible, because later on when we put the blues on the actual lid, it's going to pop up really nicely. Now I'm just going back with that blending brush that we used, the shade Morocco with, and I'm just going over any harsh lines just to make sure that it's really well blended. On a flat shader brush, I'm going to grab the shade Blue My Mind, and I'm going to start placing it on the outer corner of my eye, as well as the inner corner. Oh my god, that shade is so pigmented. It's my first time using it, but it's doing a great job. I'm kind of dragging it outwards. And I haven't even wet the brush. Wow. Wow, this shade is definitely something. And I don't know if you can see, but there's minimal fallout. So what I'm doing now is I'm kind of connecting the inner and outer part on the top and kind of dragging it outwards. I know it looks like a complete mess right now, but just trust me, it's going to look a lot better later on.
Lord knows that I've tried to. You said I was the only one. No one likes being lied to. You made this mess and left me.
Right, now that I've applied the blue shade, I know I look absolutely crazy right now, but I promise you, just bear with me, it's gonna turn out great. Going back to that Juvia's Place palette again, I'm going to grab this shade right here, the Sokoto shade that we used in our transition. And on a Morphe E27, I'm going to go over the harsh line between the blue and the red. As you can see, I am just lightly scratching the surface between the two shades.
I've been stuck on your memory, but it's not like I need it. And you may have some mystery.
I'm gonna grab a smaller brush just because this one is way too big, and I'm going to focus on the line there. As you can see, it's kind of creating like this really pretty purple shade. This is not what we're after today, so we're just going to focus on the blend between the two shades. With no additional product, I'm going back to that brush that I used the blue with, and I'm kind of going to blend it in with the red. I will actually touch up the blue just slightly, just because it has kind of wiped off when we were blending it with the red. And in the meantime, I'm going to blend that color upwards towards the red. In order to create this look, you have to be very patient, just because reds and blues are very difficult colors to work with. Especially when you're trying to blend them together, it's really difficult not to get that specific purple color that appears when you blend them. So you have to be kind of very patient and careful when blending them if you don't want to end up with a purple eye. Okay, now that we've touched up the blue, I'm going with no additional product. I'm going back to that small blending brush from Morphe, and it's the M562. I forgot to mention that earlier. And again, I'm going just above the line between the two shades. Going back with the shade Morocco, I'm applying just the tiniest bit on my brush and making sure to tap off the excess, and I'm going over the red. And going back one more time with that red, I'm going to intensify it slightly. Next, I'm grabbing the shade Autumn Breeze from Makeup Geek, and using my finger, I'm going to pop that right on the center of the lid. And as you can see, it has that really pretty kind of bluish green sheen. The blue shade that we just took represents this kind of light blue greenish part, and this is just on the center of the lid. And now to represent these little kind of white spots, I'm gonna grab another shade from Makeup Geek, which is called Voltage, and on a clean shader brush and with the smallest amount on the brush, I'm going to pop that lightly just on the center of the lid, just so we have that tiny bit of dimension going on. I'm not sure if you can tell on camera, but in person you can definitely see there's a little bit of difference and dimension to both eyes. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a makeup wipe and just clean this up. I would like to keep it a tiny bit more dramatic than I usually do. And using my nail, I'm kind of pressing and dragging that outwards. And you should end up with something looking like this. Now moving on to my base, I'm going to apply the Maybelline Matte and Poreless Foundation using my brush. Just going to make sure that it's applied on the neck as well. And using my beauty blender, I'm going to buff that in. Don't forget your ears. This is a great foundation, but I would definitely advise you to grab a shade lighter just because it is oxidizing. And it is a touch a bit dark for me. By the way, if you can see this thing moving, it's Thomas. He's moving it. Say hi! Mama's boy! Hi! Next I'm gonna grab this Dior contour stick in the shade 001, and on my Morphe E56 I'm going to apply directly to the brush from the contour stick. Tap it off on my arm just to make sure there's no excess product on my face, and lightly dab it on my cheeks just to kind of contour the face a little. I'm not gonna go for a super bronzed look today just because I want the main focus to be on the eye, which is why I'm just lightly sculpting the face like this. You can see how a tiny bit of contouring makes the biggest difference. Next I'm going to grab the contour shade from the Nip and Fab palette. I'm going to use this cool tone bronzy color, which is called Latte, and I'm going to set the contour. For highlight, I'm going to grab this Estate Cosmetics highlight in the shade Do Me Lit. If you guys remember, I received this highlighter in one of my Birchbox unboxings. It's not too bad, but I'm gonna go for something a little bit more gold, which is why I'm gonna grab my MAC Whisper of Guilt highlight and just apply it on top. And for blush, I'm gonna grab this The Balm blush in the shade Swiss Dot. For brows, I'm gonna take the Revolution Pro Brow Pomade in the shade Dark Brown. I don't really use pomades on a regular basis, but today, since the eye look is very dramatic, we're going to have to match it with the eyebrows as well. So I'll do them quickly off camera and then I'll be right back. Right, so what I did off camera is do my brows and then I popped some false lashes. And now we're going to finish the lower lash line. I'm gonna grab Blue My Mind from Makeup Geek that we used earlier on the outer corners, and on my Morphe Y21 I'm going to run that on my lower lash line. On a Morphe M149, I'm going to grab that same Sokoto shade that we used and run it lightly under the blue and connect it kind of midway on the outer corner. I'm not going to drag it all the way to the end just because it's going to be a little too much, but if you ever want to recreate this look and you feel like doing so, you are more than welcome to do so. So as you can see from the picture here, the red is kind of framing the blue part. So what I'm trying to do is recreate that and actually frame the blue part, mimicking these thingies right here. I still don't know what they're called. So I'm trying to do again is I'm kind of framing the eye as if this kind of molecule, or cell or whatever it's called, it's kind of staying in the middle. So this is what I'm actually trying to achieve with the red, and I'm kind of trying to keep it sultry and sexy as I'm leaving out the inner and outer corner, kind of creating that cat shaped look, if that makes sense. It does in my mind. And to finish off the look, I'm gonna go for a very nude lip just to keep the main focus on the eyes. For lips, I'm gonna grab this nude lipstick from Looms Cosmetic in the shade 06. And I'm just gonna pop it on the center. And just using my finger, I'm going to blend that with a lip liner. And that is pretty much the finished look. So this is the final look, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey of turning something very ugly and very scary into something very beautiful and a form of art. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel before you leave and turn on your notification post so you get a notification every time I post. Follow me on my Instagram, which is ElizabethNova_, as well as my Facebook page, which is ElizabethNova11. And that's it pretty much from me. I'll hopefully see you on the next one. Stay safe, you guys. Wash your hands. Work from home if you can. If not, take all measures to make sure that you and your loved ones are safe. And if you are one of the affected, please make sure to follow all doctors' advice and stay at home so you can protect other people. Thank you for joining me on this very strange journey recreating a freaking coronavirus inspired makeup look, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!